Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hey, everybody. Oop, this window keeps closing on me. There we go. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I am Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic, and you have tuned into the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. Yay! I am so silly. Okay. Anywho, if this is your first time joining me, please click the bell for notifications if you're on YouTube. Give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here. Whether you watch it live or not. I appreciate you for stopping through and rolling through and coming through and all the things. So let's get into it. I usually talk about what I did the week before, and then we get into what we're going to talk about today, which will be the Eddie Murphy documentary called Being Eddie. And we're going to talk about this wonderful cast that I've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks from Apple TV Plus called Palm Royale. We'll be speaking to Amber Sade Robinson, Kaya Gerber, Mindy Cohn, Leslie Bibb, Ricky Maritn and Laura Dern, Josh Lucas, and Kristen Wiig. Before I get into that, I just want to remind you guys about some things that are coming up next week that I have reviewed here before, but would like to tell you to stream, to have on your list to stream. There's a movie coming out called Arco on November 14th. The voice talent are plethora of different people, including Natalie Portman. And Arco is about a 10-year-old boy from a peaceful future who accidentally travels back in time to the year 2075, discovering a world in peril. He bands together with a young girl and her robot caretaker as he sets out on a quest to return home. Check that out on November 14th. Also coming is a film called Rebuilding, starring Josh O'Connor. You may remember him from playing Prince Charles on The Crown. He's also in a movie this year called The History of Sound. Kaylee Race and Amy Madigan are in this. It's a Bleecker Street joint. After wildfires takes his ranch, Dusty winds up in a FEMA camp, finding community with others, including his daughter and his ex-wife. And of course, there's another film called Left-Handed Girl, which I do not have a picture of, and I will have it by the time we finish. Also coming up, I'm going to talk about The Running Man. I'm going to do a review of The Running Man. I spoke with some of the talent today, so I'll have those interviews next week. I'll also have next week Jason Clarke from the Murdoch series that is streaming on Hulu. He'll be joining me next week, as will the supermodel Roshumba and Jill Campbell, Julie Campbell's daughter, from the documentary Beyond the Gaze. Julie Campbell was the woman who put together all those Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues. So all of that is coming up. Now, let's get into what I did last week. Last week, I went to a brunch with this lovely lady. She is a screenwriter of Hamnet. She wrote the book Hamnet, and she wrote the screenplay for the film, which is out. You don't want to miss it. Her name is Maggie. And there's me and some other journalists that sat down and had a chat with her. I did the most important thing I needed to do this past week was to vote. So I took that cute little picture and thought y'all might want to see it because I thought it was cute. And then I hopped on over to Fox 11 LA to do my segment over there that I do every other Wednesday during the 6 o'clock hour, usually the latter part of the 6 o'clock hour, unless something goes down and I have to do it earlier. So there's that. But we did True Stories of Defiance, where I talked about Nuremberg, Sarah's Oil, and Christie. If you go to any of my social media pages, you will find that information there about those particular things. So let's get into Being Eddie, shall we? So Being Eddie, excuse me, is a documentary that is dropping on Netflix. It is, let me come back on camera so that y'all can actually see me and not just hear my voice. Being Eddie is a documentary about Eddie Murphy. Who doesn't know who Eddie Murphy is? He is an internationally known global movie star, but he started on SNL, and SNL literally is the only audition he's had in his entire life. That's the only, I look at all the things that Eddie Murphy has done. That is literally the only audition as an actor that he's had in his entire life. He talks about how his life led him to SNL and what happened as SNL, what happened after SNL. This is a documentary on Netflix that is a retrospective of his life and his career, and it's being told from him himself, which I kind of appreciate, because a lot of times when we have these biographies and these documentaries, it's told by other people. We see clips of the person that they're talking about, and it's a lot of second and third hand information. So I really laud and applaud Eddie Murphy for giving us the first-hand information himself so that he can't be misquoted, it can't be misconstrued or misunderstood. He's saying it is coming right out of his mouth. I really appreciated that. This is a very different man than the man in the leather suit doing the Raw concerts, right? He's now a family man. And this is the thing about comedians or people that are funny. People think that they're just wilding out and just up and, at 100,000 all the time. Eddie Murphy is very, very chill. He's very introspective. He's a very spiritual man, from what I could tell from the documentary. And he seems to be someone who is really settling into this later chapter of his life, enjoying the type of life that his career has allowed him to pursue and enjoy. So I love that. So this is not going to be about the leather suit Eddie Murphy. This is going to be about the family man Eddie Murphy and the culmination of his life and his career. And it's also talking about him being a comedian versus being a comedic actor. And there's a very big difference. He started out as a comedic actor who became a comedian and then went back and was a comedic actor, if that makes any kind of sense. But I'll let him tell you about that when you watch it and it hits on Netflix on November 12th. And last but not least, let's not forget that Eddie Murphy is notorious for reaching back to the past and putting on people that he admired, who he thought was funny. Remember Harlem Nights when he had Red Fox and Richard Pryor and Della Reese and all these other people? He talks about his brother Charlie, that he loves, who's no longer with us, and how instrumental Charlie was in his life. And he gives Charlie all the props and says that Charlie literally was the funnier one. And Eddie Murphy also set the bar for these buddy comedy action movies that we see. Nobody was doing it to that nth degree before he came along. So, and no comedians were selling out, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollar seat stadiums before he came along. Eddie Murphy, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated talents in Hollywood. He does not, in my opinion, get the type of credit and accolades that he deserves. This dude writes, he produces, he's a musician, he can sing, he can dance, he can do drama, he can do comedy. There's literally nothing that he cannot do. So when you see Being Eddie, keep all of that in mind and keep your mind and your ears open, because you might miss a few things. But I loved it, and I love Eddie Murphy. As everyone that knows anything about me knows that I respect him immensely, and I have told him so to his face on the couple of occasions that I had the opportunity to interview him. All right, let's get into Miss Palm Royale, shall we? So Palm Royale is a series that's going to be streaming on Apple TV Plus. It starts streaming this week, and it had a season 1, and now it's about to get into a season 2. I love it. I love it for the fashion. I love it for the music. I love it for the hair and the makeup, but I mostly love it for this ensemble cast, which includes Kaya Gerber, Josh Lucas, Amber Sade Robinson, Laura Dern, Kristen Wiig, Ricky Maritn, Mindy Cohn, Leslie Bibb, and the incomparable Carol Burnett. Like, who is not going to watch a TV show that got Carol Burnett on it? I'm just saying, it's Carol Burnett. But I talked with the cast about a plethora of things, and I did some interviews with them for a junket that they had where they were trying to maximize the hype on the show, so to speak. So here is the first interview with, I think is the major. Let's do the first one with Laura Dern. And let me say, In the event that Laura Dern happens to see this, which I know she watches my podcast, I want to offer you so much love and light at the loss of your mom. I know how important your mom and your dad are to you and to your life and to your family. And I am so sorry that you have had to endure such a loss in your life. I know what that love for a mom is. I have the same type of love and admiration for my mother, and I had it for my dad when he was here. So I just want to give you some love and light, sis, love and light. And with that, here is Laura Dern and Kristen Wiig from Apple TV Plus's Palm Royale. Carla Renata, the Curvy Film Critic.
Yes. Y'all are hysterical. I loved y'all in the show, mostly because particularly this season, y'all had some transformational stuff going on, right?
Yes.
And so as actors in this business, how do you learn how to love yourself, even though we're in a business where we crave attention and acceptance from other people all the time?
Whoa. Girl, you are breaking it down.
Listen.
I agree with the question.
Yes.
That is a question I continue to ask. I was just saying my grandma reminded me what I heard in elementary school as what she said was the most important life lesson, which is keep your eyes on your own paper.
Ooh.
And I do try to consider that often because there is so much noise that when we started did not exist because no one was talking about our brand. No one was talking about followers and likes. So we got to just be kind of happy being weird and vulnerable and true and discover who we were as artists. And none of it was being judged or measured. So I feel really blessed. I think about like the next generation having to like start the questions of who am I as a woman, what matters in the world to me.
I feel like Maxine and Linda really kind of have to navigate that in this series all the time with each other and by themselves. So wouldn't you agree, Kristen?
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about the writing of our show, because if you saw all these characters' pictures on a board, you would never say those two have probably the deepest, realest love for each other. And they're so different, but they both want so much that they don't have, and they just find something within each other. And I think that's so beautiful.
And under the guise of this, radical, even absurd comedy at moments, they would risk everything for each other and do in this season, which is amazing, to see in a female friendship, even when they're divided or seemingly on other sides. It's, like Kristen, the truest friendship I could have.
I was going to say that this is the one thing I appreciate about this series is that it does focus on female relationships in every faction possible, in every age group possible. I really love that it addresses that, and it addresses it in not a catty way. And even if it does go there for a split second, it somehow finds its way back to being real and authentic and nice and warm and fuzzy. I appreciate that about that show, and I appreciated it about your characters in particular, and I appreciate y'all letting me have time to talk to you today.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're very blessed. Yeah. And the arc of the season, it's true, it comes back by the end of the season that each person has had to learn the truth about themselves. Yeah,
I've tried to navigate this where I didn't spoil it for anybody. I think I did a great job.
You really did. Brilliant.
But that's my time. I have so many other questions, but that's my time. And I just want to thank y'all again. Thank you so much.
We'll see you at the thing downstairs.
Oh, yeah, girl, I'll be there.
Okay, great.
We're going to party hard.
Have you seen all of them?
I've seen all of them. I've seen every season, every episode. Yes, ma'am. I do not come into these things lightly. No, ma'am. I don't play those reindeer games.
Oh my God, I love you. You're my favorite.
No. Laura will tell you I don't do that.
She knows all of it from the get-go.
Thank you.
No, I do not play those reindeer games, and anybody that knows me will tell you that. Now, at the beginning of that interview, when I was doing all like this, Kristen was doing this whole thing with me and my ring, and they were just like, okay, we got to get this started, and they just press record. Because they were like, y'all are doing the absolute most. But thank you, Kristen and Laura. And so now here is the rest of the cast of Palm Royale season 2. And after this, we'll get into The Running Man.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm great. I loved y'all in this series. I especially love you because you're a journalist. I'm like, yes, Mindy, yes, get it, girl. But I find that your characters in this season in particular are the type of characters that are seeking love and acceptance.
Yeah.
And in this business of show, as actors, we're always seeking love and acceptance. So after wrapping season 2, how did you find love and acceptance for yourself? How did you look back on that for yourself after wrapping this season in particular? And I'll start with Leslie first.
That's such a good question, because I left this season and I said, I feel really moved by it and it sort of changed me as a person, and how I live my life of like, I need to risk vulnerability. Like I need that, like what Dinah is so scared to do because she thinks it is an Achilles heel, that it makes her that vulnerability makes her too prone. I think vulnerability is the thing that makes you expand. And I'm also so tired of pretending to try to be something that I'm not, or to fake it till you make it and do all of this stuff. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And so for me, I really left this season really with a consciousness around being like, I'm enough. This is the best I can do. And if it's not good for you, cool. That's good. You do you. I'm going to go do me. And it was really, it's so interesting that
Leslie, I got rid of so many people after the show.
Stop it!
Oh, like,
do tell, honey.
this show was therapy, baby. I got rid of a lot of people after the show because this show taught me about the importance of self, of love, of taking care of yourself and surrounding yourself with the right group of people and get rid of what doesn't add. It's about manifesting positivity and locking it in with nothing but life is too short. It's about manifesting positivity and locking it in with nothing but being positive. And I went through that.
Me too.
And I feel so fucking amazing. Yeah. Pardon my friend, I feel amazing. And this is something that I guess needed to happen, but this show brought me the strength to number one, put my feet on the ground and make very solid drastic decisions that are of impact for my personal life. So this is what the show is doing.
It is.
And I hope it does the same to y'all.
I love that. Mindy.
Yes. Well, I mean, my God.
I know. Very transformative answers.
I know.
Yes, like a little dose of what he's having. But, I mean, for me, it sounds so like, hashtag and a little like, oh, light a candle, rub a Buddha. But just a lot of gratitude and a lot of passport stamping for me. Freedom. Just a lot of freedom. And a lot of that is coming with age. I have to tell you, this miscommunication, this misunderstanding I had that my 50s and 60s, it was all going to go downhill. I have a new memo. My 50s have been the best decade of my life, and the 60s look pretty damn good.
Beautiful.
And a lot of the show had a lot to do with it, not just professionally, but personally, the relationships that I made, where you can have this, doing a show is like boot camp, right? You experience something at the same time and there's this intimacy and it's real. It's not that it's fake, but it's temporary. Mm-hmm. And there's something it's a growth spurt when you have the opportunity to work with the caliber of people we've worked with, both in front of and behind the camera, that elevates your life and you go seeking that out in the real world. Yeah.
I love that. I love what y'all said. And honey, as someone who's in the 60s, I welcome you when you get there. It is not all as cracked up to be, but it's fabulous.
Beautiful.
Right?
Meet you there.
It's just different. And this idea that I think also this idea that because that's a thing that's so, at that time in the 60s, we're like, you're only as good. You better be at your station at 30 because you're going to be turned in, you're going to be put out to pasture. And there's something I love that Abe is showing these women finding their front foot as they, all these women at a certain age, we're all in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, and all of these women are in all different places. And in this time, just getting started. And I think that's a great very au courant of like women right now are really in their power.
We are in our power, and I am in my power because y'all gave me the best answers to a question I could have ever asked for. Thank you so much for your
Wonderful.
time. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
Hey, y'all. Hey. I loved your characters in this show.
Thank you.
Mostly because each one of you, particularly this season, had a transformational moment where you had to come into your own. So I'm just wondering, on the other side of this season, how have you come into your own after leaving these characters?
Ooh. I think for me as Amber is trusting in the foundation that has been built for me, you know, instilled by my parents and my predecessors, people that have come before me, and trusting that me authentically is acceptable and I don't have to wear masks in any way, shape, or form to fit into whatever society or what the industry wants me to look like or be like or sound like. Virginia has taught me a lot about just, it's okay if I'm the only one. It's okay if I think that way. It's okay for me to stand in my boots and stand tall and hold my head up high. So, yeah.
Virginia was badass.
She was a bad bitch, you know?
She was. How about you?
I relate so much to Mitzi, this like sort of presenting yourself in a disarming way, or sort of a survival tactic of like dumbing yourself down to make people more comfortable. And I think that, you know, in season 2, I really got to find her strength. And I relate so much to her really like asking herself, what do I want? And also why is no one asking me what I want? And really like finding her power and her freedom and her voice was really important to me. And I also think like she has kind of a level of instinctual behavior that's very resourceful. And I admire that so much in her. And I think she also gets to a point where like when she's over it, she is over it. And I wish I could be so bold in my life to just be like, I'm not having it right now. And I love that about her.
I was living for Mitzi this season because she was taking no prisoners. She was like, yeah, no, that's not what we're doing. We're doing this over
not
here.
here. And I think like Mitzi's probably more like Virginia than like the Douglases and the Evelyns of the world. But she's very much in the Douglas and Evelyn and Norma world. So it's fun to kind of like have to play along with it. But it feels like a pantomime a lot of the time, I think.
She really found her voice this season. She did.
She really did. I was there for all of that.
Thanks.
Look, the joy of playing Douglas is that I literally have nothing in common with this guy. I mean, he's a moron.
He really is. The brightest crayon in the
And
box.
I'm brilliant.
And you're the smartest guy in the world.
And you know, Douglas is truly just, he's a mess in a way that is so much fun to play. But I think he's got a heart of gold, which is also interesting because he causes so much pain and so much anger everywhere he goes. And yet he's doing it from this, like, again, like such a puppy dog place. But what's interesting as opposed to like Kaya's character, where there is a hard core, a core of her that's a very strong, powerful person. Douglas is not at all.
I could eat you alive.
Fully. Any one of these women could eat Douglas.
Douglas had shenanigans. Douglas was like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I can do that. Well, maybe I
Yeah.
should. I was like, brother, pick a side.
He's
Make a
so
choice.
confused.
He's so confused.
He's so
But the
lost.
joy, it's truly
Yeah.
a joy to be on a show because it's rare where the women eat the men alive. Not from an acting standpoint, but like caricature wise.
Yeah.
It's just that we do, and that's our incredible writers, and it's so fun to be in a world
It's
like
liberating.
that. It's liberating
Yeah.
and it's rare and it's such a joy. Sorry.
No, don't be
We
sorry.
love the boys.
Yeah, we do.
Listen,
We love
it
them.
Is, listen, it is what it is. There's no reindeer games when it comes to the women in this show. No reindeer games.
No,
at all.
no.
And closing on my time, I just want to tell you, you are like my favorite from Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know how many times you hear that in the course of a day, but I'm going to be that 1 millionth person that tells you that. I adore y'all. I love each and every one of you in this series. You
Thank
guys
you.
did it. And thank you for giving me your time.
Thank
Oh
you
my
so
gosh,
much.
thank you. You've been such
Thank
a joy.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Don't y'all just love when I brought out Sweet Home Alabama to Josh? He was like, yes, I done heard this a million times, and yes, you're gonna be the millionth and one, but I know I'm not gonna stop you, so just go ahead and do you. That made me laugh out loud because I know he was like, if this girl don't stay on the subject of Palm Royale, I'm gonna kill her anyway. Um, that was the cast of Palm Royale. I want to thank again Miss Amber Sade Robinson, Miss Kaya Gerber, Miss Mindy Cohn, Miss Leslie Bibb, Miss Laura Dern, Mr. Ricky Martin, Mr. Josh Lucas, and Miss Kristen Wiig. It will be streaming on Apple TV Plus this week, y'all. Keep your little ears tuned for it, and you will see everything that there is to see about that. All right, so let me get into The Running Man. So, The Running Man is a remake of a Stephen King property. Let me come back on camera so I can tell you all the things about that. Um, it was originally done in 1987 and it starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, Maria Conchita Alonso, and Richard Dawson. Even Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac was in it. Jesse Ventura, the wrestler, was in it. And it was released on November 13th, 1987, which is hilarious because this year it's going to be released on November 14th, 2025. So there's that. In that version, it was in the year 2019 that it was taking place, and America was a totalitarian state where the favorite television program was The Running Man. The Running Man is a game show in which prisoners must run to freedom to avoid a brutal death. Now, in this updated version, directed by Edward Berger, who's known for Baby Driver, Last Night in Soho, it's in a near future society. And again, The Running Man is still the top rated show, but the contestants are not in prison. They're just regular people who watch the show. And they have to survive for 30 days while being hunted by these professional assassins called hunters. And with every move, with every move that they make, is broadcast to like what you would call a bloodthirsty public. So it would be like the equivalent of watching Survivor being filmed live. That's what The Running Man is the equivalent of. At least that's what I took away from it. So in this version, Glen Powell plays Ben Richards. And he's a working class dude. His daughter is sick. His wife, Sheila, who's played exquisitely by Jamie Lawson, they're trying to figure out how they're going to get this money to help their daughter. And so he decides he's going to go apply for a game show. And the producers of the network, which is the broadcasting entity within The Running Man, decides that they are going to put Ben on The Running Man. That was the one show he didn't want to do because the odds of you getting killed on that show are greater than not. But he ends up doing it. He gets convinced by this charming, kind of ruthless producer named Dan Killian, who's played exquisitely by Josh Brolin. And he runs and he runs and he runs. He has some help along the way, and it's all the things. But this is what I'll say about it. This is a Stephen King property. There have been a zillion different King properties for whatever reason this particular year, at least 5, with The Running Man being one of them, that has been produced for either television or the big screen. So let's say that. And it was a short story. It wasn't a full-on book, this Running Man thing. Now, when they shot this updated version, they shot it in Bulgaria and in below freezing temperatures. Can you imagine running in below freezing temperatures? Child, your digits of your fingers be trying to fall off, your toes be feeling like, I don't know, Kit Kats. I'm just saying, it would be a situation. But what I will say is that this remake is a little bit of a slow burn for me. But it does pick up exponentially in the second act, and it kind of makes up for what was dragging a little earlier. It's a great ensemble cast, including Jamie Lawson, as I already mentioned, Daniel Ezra, and Lee Pace. This version is more faithful to the Stephen King short story than the 1987 version that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. And ultimately, this is a film about choices and how those choices could make you stronger or destroy you and those who love you. So that's the skinny on The Running Man. That is the most succinct way I could bring it to you. I do have interviews coming with Jamie Lawson and Daniel Ezra, who are in the cast. I did those interviews today, so I'll have those for you next week. In addition, next week, I will have some interviews from possibly, I'm not sure yet, we're waiting, the cast of Jay Kelly. I said I was going to have Jason Clark, from the Murdoch murder trial series on Hulu. I'm going to have Jill Campbell from Beyond the Gaze, a new documentary about her mom, Julie Campbell, who shot all of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit models, and she was the one that actually came up with that idea. And yeah. And also, what I wanted to tell you is I'll probably go early with this again next week because I'm flying to New York for No One Mourns the Wicked, for the Wicked premiere. Hopefully my flight won't get canceled and there won't be shenanigans and I'll get there. But I'm going to New York for the Wicked premiere, so I will do my podcast next week right before I pop out to the premiere. So I'll probably be dressed in all the things when you see me for that next week. Again, let me remind you about this little Christmas movie that I'm in. It's called The Christmas Showdown. It's going to hit OWN for the holidays on December 6th. It stars Corbin Reed, Amber Stevens West, Oba Babatunde, Loretta Devine, Beverly Todd, and moi. And here are the other Christmas movies that will be showing: A Little Merry Christmas with Etienne Maurice, who is the son of Cheryl Lee Ralph, Christmas Showdown, as I already mentioned, and Very Merry Mystery. All three of these will be coming on every Saturday leading up to the Christmas holidays with Fake Yourself a Merry Little Christmas beginning on November 29th, Christmas Showdown on December 6th, and Very Merry Mystery on December 13th. And here is the cast, including me. I'm down there at the bottom on the right with different hair, but y'all know how I rock with the different hair all the time. Not anything new. Not anything new. Again, go to my Instagram to see my clips, or my TikTok to see my clips from the segment that I did on Fox 11 LA. If you haven't seen Hamnet, check out Hamnet, y'all. It is an excellent, excellent film. And it's one of those films that is going to be in high contention as we get further on into the award season. Being Eddie, the documentary that will be streaming on Netflix on November 12th in just a few days. Do yourselves a favor and check it out. And of course, The Running Man, which is coming to theaters on November 14th. That's it, y'all, for this episode of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Thank you so much for popping through and supporting and checking in again. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do that. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here. I thank you so much for popping through, and whether you were here in real time or not. And that's it. So love, peace. Oh, wait, there's a message. Oh, it's from my boo-boo. Hi, Carla. Zootopia 2 is in 3 weeks. I know, Brandon, and I will be there. I will be at the premiere, and I have some interviews from that as well. So thank you for reminding me about that. I do have interviews coming from Zootopia 2 with some of the stars. Don't want to say who it is just yet because you'll be really surprised, and it's a really big one. All right, so that's it. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Love, peace, and hair grease, and deuces until the next night. Until the next time. Bye.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love,